Have you ever wondered about Ryerson's sustainability? I mean, you probably thought about it like once and then totally forgotten about it. But not today. Today we'll be taking a look at Ryerson's ecological footprint and see how it's really affecting the environment. Let's take a look. I'm going to start our search like any good student starts a research essay. Google. There's something called LEED certification on Ryerson's website. It's basically a stamp of approval verifying that a building was made using sustainable energy practices. So, how's Ryerson doing? Ryerson states on their website that the university is committed to reaching a silver standard or higher on all of its new buildings. But what about the old buildings, like Carr Hall? My team and I reached out to Ryerson to see if they had any current plans to renovate or improve the energy efficiency of the old buildings. Here's what Ryerson's Facility Management and Development team told us. Ryerson is in the process of updating and refreshing its campus master plan, which outlines the principles that will continue to guide campus development. They have been conducting consultations as part of this process, and renovations of their existing older buildings have been identified as a priority for the updated campus master plan. Well, in the meantime, here's what we know for sure. Ryerson told us that in the majority of their buildings, the school is integrated BAS, which is short for Building Automated System. This aims to reduce the energy buildings consume while unoccupied. They've also implemented new technologies to reduce water consumption, lower emissions, and improve pollution control. However, these have only been integrated into one building, the recently built Daphne Coxwell Health Science Complex. As much as Ryerson's trying to make progress, there seems to be one glaring issue, something they even pointed out themselves. You can't manage what you can't measure. Currently, Ryerson tracks its energy consumption using a system called PUMA. The problem with PUMA is that it can't track individual buildings, peak days, or peak hours. It can only give Ryerson a benchmark for the entire campus on a monthly basis. So, how can Ryerson pinpoint issues when their scope is so big? Well, at the moment it's rather difficult. But the university told us it's currently implementing a sub-metering project, which is expected to be completed by fall 2020. This will allow the university to track and assess individual buildings and implement conservative measures for the future. To quote Mr. Drucker again, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. While Ryerson has just started to implement systems necessary to identify larger problems, I wonder how other areas of Ryerson measure up. According to Ryerson's most recent annual waste audit, Ryerson generated just under 1,600 tons in 2017. That's around 33 TTC streetcars. Of that number, approximately 638 tons were diverted, dumping a whopping 960 tons into landfills. Let's break those numbers down a little bit more and look at Ryerson's waste diversion rate. What's a diversion rate? Like it sounds, it's the percentage of material an establishment prevents from going into the landfills. The Ministry of Environment, Conservation, and Parks sets a diversion rate objective of 60%. So to get Ryerson's diversion rate, we divide their total waste diverted by their total waste generated, and that leaves us with 39.9%. But how much could Ryerson have actually diverted? Of the 960 tons that went into landfills, 315 tons made up non-recyclables, while 32 made up coffee cups and 9 made up styrofoam, two materials that are not the most recyclable financially speaking. Even when you subtract these, you're left with about 604 tons that could have been diverted. But this isn't a perfect world. Reaching a 100% diversion rate is nearly impossible. Even so, Ryerson sits 20% below the provincial goal. So, why is Ryerson's diversion rate so low? Well, let's take a look. From one building to the next. There isn't a consistent disposal system. Although Ryerson has implemented better signage, it's only been rolled out at a few select buildings, leaving visibly different trash and recycling bins throughout campus. But it's not just the inconsistent design that's a problem. The lack of opportunities to divert waste is really disappointing. Trash bins can be found throughout campus, but there are not an equal number of recycling bins. And the recycling bins that are present often only allow for one material to be recycled. On top of that, when you look at the audit, the two highest materials that could have been diverted but weren't are organics and paper towel. If you thought recycling bins were scarce, compost disposals are an even rarer sight. This scarcity often forces students and faculty to have to trash items that could have been diverted from landfills. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Ryerson can be doing a lot more to improve its ecological footprint. Steps like having a consistent design, providing more opportunities to divert waste, and creating awareness and accessibility to sustainability information is a start. Now, of course, Ryerson isn't the only factor in reducing the university's carbon footprint. Students and faculty are also accountable for doing their part. But change needs to start now.